guys, this is Kevin from the author of the book Faith Through Love, and today I was inspired to talk to you guys about gifts. And I'm not just talking about, I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about gifts that God gives us when we're born, things that we're talents that we have inside of us. And if you don't know your talent, I want to encourage you to seek God and seek inside yourself, see what makes you happy, and you may just find your talent, because you will be happy if you use your talent to make money or as a lifestyle. It will bring you great joy, especially if you use it for God. Alright, so I want to talk about people that sing. People that sing, a lot of times, I want to say, a lot of times great singers start out in the choir. They start out in the church, and then they turn and they go away from God. Even for a matter of fact, my friend Helen, actually she's my brother's fiance. She was telling me earlier today about her friend that started singing, and that was kind of like his motivation. His heart for God was like his motivation, his way of expressing himself. And when he let pride come in, or when he let things come in that shouldn't really come in, the glory of himself, it kind of stopped him in his talent, kind of almost stopped him in his tracks. And that's one thing that could happen. Most people do end up stopping their talent because they're not using it for God. So don't let pride come in when you do stuff that has a lot of people looking at you and watching you. You gotta fight that pride away from you, because you got to humble yourself before God. Another thing is arts. All kinds of arts will also bring a similar situation. So I want to move on to my next topic. Comes to gifts, spiritual gifts. Like spiritual gifts, sometimes you'll find yourself, God speaking to you about somebody, and you got to discern whether, if you were to pray for that person personally, within yourself, or go up to that person and talk to that person and pray to them, or if you're a pastor, if you're going to call them up tomorrow or the next day and schedule an appointment, or you're going to call them out in the middle of the church, those things are different. There's a time and a season for each one, and you got to be able to have a communication with God and know that He's talking to you in an urgent voice, or is He talking to you sovereignly in your heart. You got to be able to cultivate this, and you got to have, especially for spiritual gifts, I find people, they use their spiritual gifts, and it's a time that they show disrespect to authority. Like, you can't go in the middle of somebody's preaching and tell them something about themselves while your pastor or your bishop or some kind of leader or minister is ministering. There's a time and a place for all things. That's my point. And you got to cultivate that. And you got to do all things decently in order. And then financial gifts. Some people, they give, but they rob themselves because they give out of pride. Even though God told them to do it and they have the money, but then they get up in front of a bunch of people without God telling them to do that, or without their headship telling them to do that, and they want to give in front of everybody, and they rob themselves. Other times, they are told to give and they don't give. That's even worse, because there's no possible harvest out of that. You are robbing yourself double because you didn't do it, you weren't obedient, and now you're out of the will of God. So gifting, you have to cultivate that too. I'm talking about financial gifting. Some people have talents to earn money, gobs and gobs of money. If you stop giving to God what is God's, He will stop blessing you. You cannot cut your tithe. It's another point the Bible makes very clearly. So all three giftings that God give you, you need to honor God with, and not yourself. And that's pretty much what I want to talk to you guys. If you guys have any comments, or if you want me to expand this is kind of like an expansion from Christian Power and how it works. I want to expand on this topic a little bit because people struggle with it, and there's really few places you can go to talk about these kind of gifts. I want to let you guys know that God's a good God, He loves you and he wants to bless you. You have a great day. Bye.